Hello, welcome to Lil's Vintage World, and in this video, welcome to Lil's Vintage World has a Lil's Vintage rant. In this video, I'm going to be unhauling a bunch of books that I read and don't want in my life anymore because, to be honest, most of them I just really didn't like. So, getting straight into it. First book I'm unhauling is this one. This is The Graduate by Charles Webb. This is a book which is about a young man who comes back from university and he's very intelligent and doesn't he know it, and he starts an affair with a woman called Mrs. Robinson. You know the famous line, "Are you trying to seduce me, Mrs. Robinson?" That's from this. And he is so annoying and she is so annoying and everyone in this book is horrible and I hated it. So goodbye. Go annoy someone else. The next two books, I should give them credit for actually, because I read these books at a time in my life where I was reading these type of books. So I have Unlike a Virgin by Lucienne Holmes and A Girl Like You by Gemma Burgess. I read these books probably about 10 years ago when I was really into reading like women's fiction. As a child, I read children's fiction. As a teenager, I didn't really like, well, it wasn't called YA when I was a teenager, it was called teen fiction, and I wasn't really keen. So I tend to read like historical fiction, non-fiction, and like chick lit, women's fiction, fiction that just focuses on relationships and friendships generally, and at the time I really liked them. And then I left these at my parents' house along with a bunch of other books. And my mum was like, "Oh, do you want these?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll give them a reread." And I tried to reread them recently and yeah, they're just not for me. My reading tastes have really changed, and to be honest, I still really like reading women's fiction, but from like the 1910s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, not recently. Yeah, so someone else hopefully will enjoy them who enjoys women's fiction. Just not me anymore. The next book actually I'm getting rid of because I own it in a different edition. This is Elizabeth Taylor, A View of the Harbour. I really like this book, but I don't like this copy. No. I didn't read this copy because I have these beautiful, here, these are my Elizabeth Taylors. I have these beautiful editions, and yeah, I read these ones rather than this one, which I think is a horrible cover, personally. Are you ready for a controversial one? I'm getting rid of Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. I read it, I thought it was alright. Didn't really get the hoo-ha, don't really get the hype. I think, yeah, she can write, but so can a lot of people. And is it a book that I'm going to reread? No, so it can go. Another book I am saying goodbye to is The Silkworm by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling. I'm getting rid of this one because I read it and didn't like it. So I read the first one, Cuckoo's Calling, and actually I thought that was fantastic. If you haven't read it and you fancy reading it, read it. If you want to, love you. This one, I read it and I was grossed out by it. It's so gory and graphic, and it was just reminded me of why I don't read modern crime. No thank you. I felt so uncomfortable reading this and I hated it, and yeah, I definitely will never read this again in my life. It was just too gory. No thank you. The next one I'm getting rid of and I'm so disappointed with. This is Sex and the City by Candice Bushell. I love watching Sex and the City, the TV series and the films, and I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do with like new TV series. Of course, we've just recently had a passing of one of the members of the cast, Stanford, which you know, he was a wonderful character and apparently he was a lovely man in real life. So yeah, gutted about that, but intrigued. Anyway, I won't witter on too much because then we're going to get into a debate about Kim Cattrall, and I'm gutted because I loved Samantha, even though I know personally I'm definitely more of a Charlotte. I like to think I'm more of an open-minded Charlotte, but I am definitely more of a Charlotte. But how can you not love Samantha? Honestly, brilliant character. Anyway, going down a rabbit hole. Saw this in a charity shop, picked it up. I have a feeling that I might have tried this before, you know, and didn't get on with it before, but I certainly didn't get on with it now. What is this? This is so weird. It is Sex and the City, but it's also not really Sex and the City. because some of the characters are there, not all the characters are there, and it's just, there is no like continuing flow. It's like there's like a story, but the story is just like bits here, bits there, bits there. It doesn't flow together, and it's just like, what a disappointment. I gave up like 30 pages in. I was like, no, it's terrible. Just stick with the series. Stick with the series, stick with the film, and you'll be fine. Not that. Book's awful. Do I need to say any more? I recently did a rant about this book. It is awful. This is Secrets of the Tudor Court by Darcy Burnett. It's about Mary Howard, and she just spends pretty much the whole book either moaning or crying, and no thank you. Next, a book that I actually really enjoyed. This is Harbour Street by Anne Cleeves. This is one of the Vera books. I really like watching Vera, so I have tried some of the books, and I liked it. They are a bit too gory for me, so I'm not picking up any more. But yeah, as I said, I liked it, but I just never see myself rereading it again, so someone else can go and enjoy it. Controversial one. This is Hand of the Baskervilles by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. This was like running through treacle. I do not like the writing style of Arthur Conan Doyle, and that was the difficulty for me with this. I gave up. I'm not an Arthur Conan Doyle fan, sorry. I like the stories and I like watching the adaptations, but no thank you to the actual books. He's in that group, okay? There's this group of authors that just gang up on me. It's Hardy, it's Dickens, and it's Conan Doyle. And they don't like me, and so they make their writing really complex and really heavy. And I read a sentence and I'm confused and bored at the same time. No thank you. And last but not least, I'm getting rid of The Group by Mary McCarthy. This book I picked up because it's similar to The Best of Everything, which is up there by Rona, is it Jaffe? I don't know. And they're very similar in premise, like a group of young women in their early 20s starting out their life. That book was written in the 50s, set in the 50s, if I remember rightly. This one written in the 60s, set in the 30s. But never have I met a book so cliquey in which you as the reader are also not in the clique. No thank you, be gone. So that is it for my book Unhaul. Chat to me in the comments if you think I've made a mistake, if you agree with me. I mean, let's be honest, some of these are shocking. But I hope you enjoyed this Unhaul. Let me know if you'd like to see more of them, and I shall see you soon for the next video. Bye for now.